Hello, 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 and welcome once again to Movies That Pop. I'm the Kernel. Let's see what popped up in theaters this week. Tom Hardy plays Reggie Kray, and Tom Hardy plays Ronnie Kray in Legend, the story of the infamous gangsters in 1960s London. The film starts as a slick and stylish period romp through swinging London and its glamorous nightclub scene with a groovy, lighthearted tone like such recent releases as Trumbo or The Man from U.N.C.L.E. Eventually, though, Legend collapses due to its lack of clear narrative focus, and despite having a few crackling scenes where the film comes to life, it just becomes more tedious than entertaining by the time it limps to its conclusion. The whole film looks great, and there are some scenes that are legitimately fun, but those moments are too few and far between to recommend Legend as a whole. That's it for the capsule review. Let's get in depth. It has been documented that when writer-director Brian Helgeland approached Tom Hardy to star in Legend, he only wanted him to play the role of Reggie Kray, aka the normal one, which is arguably the lead role of the movie. Hardy, however, was more interested in the more showy role of Ronnie Kray, which is the kind of role that actors love to sink their teeth into. He's got loads of idiosyncrasies. He's openly gay, cruel, paranoid, and a bullish schizophrenic. And he also talks with a thick accent and a sort of speech impediment, like he's got marbles in his mouth.
What is that? I come here for a proper shootout. A shootout, right, is a shootout! Like a western.
In short, he's a character actor's dream, especially an actor like Tom Hardy, who hasn't met a funny accent he doesn't like. So, a deal was struck that Hardy would play both roles. Now, presumably, in a lucky break for the studio, he only took home one paycheck. As expected, Hardy does tear into Ronnie Kray here, never resisting a chance to froth at the mouth, or posture, or bluster. He's like the guy having the most fun in an improv class here, and it's difficult to fault him for wanting the role. But if Ronnie is the movie's big draw, he's also the movie's biggest flaw, because as a character, Ronnie Kray is shockingly underwritten. We never really get inside his character's head, nor do we discover his motivations or watch him grow, learn, or change. His story isn't all that interesting. He's just a bull in a china shop. By the end, you can just feel Hardy, the actor, hiding behind a carefully constructed mask of prosthetics and mannerisms without truly inhabiting a fully fleshed out character. And that seems to really be the script's fault, because it has cast Reggie as the protagonist, and he's the most interesting character by miles. At least in the beginning. You follow him as he falls in love with a young innocent named Francis, who is played wonderfully by Emily Browning, and the movie seems to gravitate towards their love story as the heart of the film, which actually works well, for a time. Until, all of a sudden, it doesn't. Reggie works well as a tragically flawed hero that we would follow on a sort of Michael Corleone-style journey towards redemption or damnation, or both, until all of a sudden that story just sort of fizzles out and both Reggie and Francis become unrelatable, and you look back at all the narrative threads that the movie picked up and dropped in favor of Reggie and Francis's love story over the course of the film, and they just seem like a bunch of wasted opportunities. You want examples? I got examples. Paul Bettany shows up as a rival gangster. Now he is a lot of fun, and that could have set up a great mob war story between the two different families, but he disappears pretty quickly and he never comes back. Christopher Eccleston shows up as a Scotland Yard agent out to bring down the Krays. Now, this could have been the start of a great cops and robbers drama. He even has a great scene where he confronts Reggie in one of the Krays nightclubs, and you get the feeling there's gonna be a nice little rivalry between the hunter and his prey. Well, that disappears in the very next scene. Chaz Palminteri represents a group of American mobsters, and he shows up in two very nicely done scenes that show the Krays branching out in their empire. This could have set up a nice storyline about the Cockney bad boys getting in over their heads and rubbing the big guys the wrong way, but instead it's merely hinted at and then it goes away. Ronnie Kray's story has the makings of a Scarface-like flameout, but it's given so little depth that he becomes almost a caricature, pathetic and inscrutable when he should be genuinely scary. He is responsible for a few of the bright spots in this movie, scenes where the lunk-headed Cockney thugs go toe-to-toe with blunt words and blunt fists that are genuinely exciting and surprising. But even his violent temper and sudden cruelty end up becoming stale and predictable. In the end, it's really Reggie's show, and although he remains the movie's most compelling character, with Francis not far behind, neither of their stories is resolved in a satisfying way, even after a half-hearted attempt to bring the story in for some sort of thematic landing with narration by Emily Browning. Considering the angles that this story could have been approached from, and considering that this underwhelming story is labeled as a legend, it's difficult not to read the whole endeavor as a series of missed opportunities. I award Legend a small bag of popcorn for its impeccable style and for milking some enjoyment out of the romantic relationship and some of the violent underworld shenanigans. There is some fun to be had here, and the world created by the production design team is immersive, but the story stalls out early and never recovers enough to be worthy of a recommendation. That does it for Movies That Pop. Stay tuned for more reviews of all the new movies. As always, please remember that you can follow me, the Kernel, on Twitter @MoviesThatPop. Also, don't forget to subscribe so you'll never miss one of our reviews. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I'm the Kernel, and pip your wee fed wobbles in the cheaper box, innit? You know what I mean?